I've been telling you guys for a long time that God is good, and today we are going to be talking about alpha from the information we got from Chris Rowan, CEO of Pantheon Rise of Fallen Visionary Realms, who has laid out the plan to get alpha into the hands of the players in 2021. Super excited about this video. We got a lot to cover here from this interview from the roundtable here in February 2021, because not only did we talk about alpha, but Chris Rowan also touched on the cash shop debate, as well as confirming an old theory here on the Nathan Napalm channel regarding no beans been Dean. And we're going to get to all that today in the video and hear what Mr. Chris Rowan had to say. But before we begin, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. We cover old school MMORPGs, Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, JRPGs, CRPGs, RPGs, all that kind of thing. And I want to give a big shout out to the members of Napalm. Thank you all so very much. I could not do this without you. You are the backbone of this channel and what keeps it alive. So thank you very much. And if you'd like to help support this channel, please click the join button down below for more information and a list of perks. And also, I would like to give a big shout out to Reiko, who is now Lord of Napalm with the highest tier. Thank you very much for your support, Reiko. All right, so let's just get right to the meat and potatoes, guys. So let's hear what Chris Rowan had to say, who is the CEO Pantheon Rise of the Fallen Visionary Realms. Let's hear what he had to say about when they're expecting or what they're plotting and planning for alpha to come out. And here we go.
We've got a great team. We've got solid processes. We've got the core processes in place. We've got kind of the leaders in place. But I've been through this many times. Growth is very, very difficult, and so we're doing our best to be prepared for that. And then I think it's no secret we're driving hard toward alpha in 2021.
Yeah.
Again, the company is throttled by available resources. With the right resources, it's something that can definitely be accomplished. There's really not that much more to do on the programming side. The code base is really, really solid. We need to get a few major systems in, and then we need to switch out the network stack for scalability. We do have quite a bit of world building to do still, and that will always, MMOs, content.
Yeah, that's it.
Getting enough content in there and keeping enough content in there for expansions, for people to consume. That's always the biggest challenge with MMOs. World building, Jimmy has kind of pioneered this process. Jimmy Lane's pioneered this process using Houdini to semi-automate or make more efficient a lot of the world building. That's something that little companies like Visionary Realms don't typically do. That's big company stuff, and that's a big deal for us. It'll allow us to make more content, or the target content faster, or more cheaply, or however you want to slice and dice it. It's a big win for us. That's a real enabler. But then another thing that we really have to consider is if we pull in, if we've got an audience of 8,000 people wanting to play this game, and say 20% of them want to play at any one time, that's a lot to support. That's a lot of processing power. That's a lot of network bandwidth. And it's a lot of server monitoring, which human beings necessarily have to do. And there's a customer service element to it too. And then, Ben, the community's just going to explode when we open up
absolutely,
the alpha people.
Yeah, they're going to devour the content. They're going to devour the actual testing process. It's going to be fantastic. We need people to be able to gather that data, to break it up and be able to put it to use, and not just have all this mass information and not know what to do with it. There's a lot we need to get ready, but yeah, we're in a good place right now, a very good place, with all the help from our PA testers and more recently the focus testing. We've got fantastic information, and we've been able to build on that to prepare ourselves for alpha.
Okay, so a couple of things, right? So, as a lot of people in the community had kind of guessed, and I had as well, the HR department upgrade that they got here recently is, in fact, as we thought it might be, so that they can expand and be prepared for expansion to their team when they get that major investor, etc. So that's really great news. But of course, the really great news, the part that's going to tickle everybody's fancy, is that they are pushing for Alpha 2021. Now, we all kind of thought that would be that way. There's been some comments from developers saying that should be probably in the realm of possibility and all that kind of thing. But hearing it from the CEO that yes, that's definitely what they think is possible with everything going on, that's really great news. And I think it's just in time, right? Like, obviously, a lot of people thought this game was going to come out in 2018. I get it. That's just not feasible. I mean, look at where the game's at right now and how cool it is. And if you just think back to where we were in 2017, etc., I mean, they could have launched a kind of subpar game, right? And built upon it from there. And I think that's what a lot of people expected. And I understand every time I release a Pantheon video, there's always some people like, hey, this game's never coming out. Bro, there is massive progression here. I mean, look at the evaluation build, right? Look at the latest footage and streams that we've gotten. Look at all the features that's been added into the game. Look how we're finally in the final pre-alpha and moving into alpha. Look at how they're getting investors involved and they're having conversations and all that kind of thing is happening on a publisher side. We've come a long way and the game looks freaking fantastic. Still has a while to go. There still needs to be more animation added and obviously the world building. But he discussed that also, which was Houdini, and what a big deal that was. Now, I'm talking to a lot of indie MMO developers, and when Houdini was announced, they were very confused. Why are they using Houdini? I'm not a developer, so to me, I was like, because it makes the process simpler, right? Like, from a non-developer point of view, I look at, the games that use Houdini, such as Horizon Zero Dawn, it's one of many examples, and basically what it does is they can create terrain and basically get a basic layout of the zone. It doesn't just create zones magically, right? But it auto-generate something, then they can go and they can tweak it instead of starting from scratch, right? And I do believe that's a really, really smart move. And I think it'll make them being able to make content faster. Now, obviously, you don't just want to use these pre-generated AI-created zones, right? And they have no plans to do that, but it helps them get a base, and then they can start tweaking it and building it and making it really cool and intricate and, fun to explore and all that kind of thing. But it's a tool that they can use, and he mentioned that there. Now, I want to move on, though. I don't want to spend too long here because we've got a lot to cover here, but let's talk a little bit, because the question was asked during the interview, what does it take to get to alpha? Like, what does alpha look like? And I asked this question to Ben Dean. He gave a really great response back in my interview. If you haven't seen that, please go check that out. But let's hear what Chris Rowan had to say real quick.
And we discuss what the alpha-ready version of the game will look like and contain, i.e. what are our major milestones and benchmarks that we need to hit to move from pre-alpha to alpha.
So, this is an interesting one because, unfortunately, the terms pre-alpha, alpha, beta have been hijacked by marketing departments across the world. And, people call something beta when it isn't, because if they get into beta, they can start charging for beta testing, or who knows what's driving people to turn the tried and true software development terms, alpha and beta, into marketing speak. I don't know, but we use these terms the traditional way. And alpha is well defined. And what it really means is major feature complete, usable, but not polished or complete form. So when Pantheon is major feature complete, and it's getting pretty close in usable but not complete or polished form, and we can support alpha testing, and we have enough content, and it will scale to the population, then we go into alpha, no sooner. Going into alpha and just calling it alpha to call it alpha and to let a bunch of people in when it's not ready is not a path to success, and we're not going to do that. So what does that mean? on the programming side, the refactor was the best thing we could have done. It was the time to do it. It's how games are made. You make a prototype, and a prototype is a lot of hard coding and just proving that things work, and then you go and you either start over or you refactor it and make it into production path ready code. And the refactor was the best thing we could have done. It's allowed us to accelerate on so many fronts. At the same time, the content production tools, the content creation tools have come a really, really long way. Allows us to create content that just appears in-game without programmers being involved. So that's allowed us to really accelerate towards alpha. So all major features, working, playable, if not polished, all races, classes, core abilities, enough zones and content sufficiently tuned, then processing network and customer service resources prepared to support the player base, and then finally a big load testing day with the pre-alpha testers where everybody just tries to beat the crap out of the game and crush it, is going to be really important to getting into alpha. One of the big items, I think most of you are aware, one of the big changes, architectural changes we need to make is we need to switch out the networking stack. We have a homegrown, world-class, you would not believe it, quality networking stack that we've created, that we have just abused and crushed and proven that it's highly scalable. It's actually an enabler for us, and we need to make that switch. But making that switch is a big commitment because it's kind of all hands on deck, and we can't really be doing much else while we're doing that, and it's going to take weeks and weeks and weeks. So, we are coming up on the point where we can kind of pause a few things and do it. It's major surgery. It's going to break a lot of things, and then, we're going to have to go back and fix them. But coming out the other end, it's going to be so much better, and it will make the game scalable to a point where technological bottlenecks, networking bottlenecks will not be the challenge. Instead, it will be social population density that could be the challenge. And so it becomes more about designing zones so people don't get clogged up and they flow. We don't end up with too many people in a zone because it's a social challenge for the game rather than being a technological challenge.
Yeah.
Super true, by the way, about alpha and beta just being completely hijacked by the industry and used to make money or monetize or whatever the world's going on there, right? And I've always been super proud of Visionary Realms for actually doing it the right way, right? Alpha is alpha, beta is beta, right? These are phases that have to be gone through in development, and I'm super happy that they're doing it the correct way and that they're not just doing it for hype, because they could, right? They could just say, oh, we're in alpha now, and we'd be all super hyped, right? Me included. I'm not going to lie. I'd be like, whoa, it's alpha time. They're actually going to get to a point where it makes sense to go into alpha. Content is there, the major systems are in place, and they're actually beginning to test to go into their final testing phase, which will be beta, right? And honestly, we'll see how things go, right? But I would expect alpha to last, and this is just me. This did not come from Chris Rowan or anybody at Visionary Realms, but I would expect alpha to last at least a year, right? Like 1 year of alpha, so it should go into 2022, and then, then we move into beta, and beta will probably last about that long as well, about a year, and then finally we get to launch. Now, that's just me. It could be quicker. It could be longer. Who knows? Nobody. So that's just my opinion on it. But it's super just crazy exciting to know that we're at that point where finally we're about to move in alpha. And I know there are a ton of people right here on this channel listening to this video in the community that are just itching like they got poison ivy over their entire body for years now, waiting to get into alpha because that's the tier package that they have. A lot of people, right? And then even more people in the beta side waiting and itching. And they know once we get to alpha, then we can move into beta. Now, here's one major thing I want to talk about as we're getting close to alpha. You're going to hear me talking about this a lot on this channel because I think it's super important, right? If the game has the features in it, right? All the major features, and it has finished zones, which it will, then here's the deal, guys. You need to allow people like myself, like Basgurn TV, like Pantheon Plus, and many others, you need to allow us an opportunity to start showing the game off, right? Allow us to start showing footage. You know, if you make certain rules like, hey, for now we don't want live streaming, or only when it's, you know, when we give you permission, like very special days, that's fine. But us pre-recording and then showing off specific, very specific things out to the Pantheons, out to the people who just want to devour every piece of content is nothing but good in my opinion. That's what I'm hoping for and I'm pushing for. I'm pushing for that, right? Pushing the Visionary Realms team to do that because honestly, it takes a lot of stress off of them because we can create content and show off things for them. Now, we can get it vetted by them, right? We can say, hey, I want to show off this particular thing in the game because I thought it was really cool. I got a really cool recording of it here. Here it is. So, you know, can I do that? Can I show this? And then they say, yep, that looks good. Let's go ahead and show that to the community. And it gives more content to you guys, and it takes pressure off of them to have to constantly be showing and keeping the community excited. That is my job. That is Basgurn's job. That's Pantheon Plus's job. Let us keep everybody hyped and updated with the news and what's going on and showing off the game and all that kind of thing. And then you guys just focus on getting this freaking game out to launch, right? So that's my opinion. And I'm really looking forward to alpha, guys, though, and I hope you are too. And of course, all information or news or anything like that, of course, you will be able to find all major updates or anything happening in the world of Pantheon Rise of Fallen right here on the Nathan Napalm channel. So please subscribe if you haven't already, and also leave a comment, like this video, please. It really feeds that hungry YouTube algorithm that I have to fight every day. When we fight the algorithm, by the way, guys, we get new people on board that find out about Pantheon. It happens every single day. So by supporting this channel with comments and likes and things like that, you're actually also supporting Pantheon because more people find out about it, and that's literally like the entire goal of this channel. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I want to give a big major shout out to the members of Napalm. They keep this channel going. You are the sponsors of this channel. Thank you all so very much. And if you're interested in helping support this channel, please click the join button down below for more information and a list of perks. Very special shout out to the Lord of Napalm, Reiko. Thank you very much. And guys, until next time, God bless and happy gaming.